I was going to use the whole maestro thing. Thanks, Goran, for that. So push the button. The physical layout of our cities informs social interaction. We exist in cars, in our homes, in our offices, and we go to and from these places by, I don't know, looking down at our phones. The result of this is a sense of isolation and a need for human connection. Enter the buzzword community and these tech startups or tech communities that are building, tech companies that are building tech communities. And sure, one of them is Facebook. And they don't always work for us. I mean, that's me 30 seconds before I left it about 15 months ago. But I am on Meetup. I recently founded Startup Hiking, and it's working really well. And I am going to use Airbnb beside their logo, or maybe because of it. It's so versatile. But I digress. Building things for many people, communities that have the potential to scale, requires a smart build. Designing for scale poses a few questions. And there's a TED Talk held by a Facebook designer that kind of gets into that. And I watched it and I started thinking, what are these elements that kind of when they work well, they bring all of us people together and they kind of make it all stick? And I thought, is it design? Is it, flat design or skeuomorphism, which is about things that look like their real self, but they're not? What is it about? Is it about minimalism? I really love a bit of minimalism. My designers are going mad when I tell them I want it to look minimal. Or is it about design hipsterism? This is an image, by the way, from a fest that I've been organizing in Transylvania, where I'm from, not a vampire. So I kept asking myself, and I decided it's about this guy. This guy is key. I was on Twitter in one of my rants, and I was talking about my love for things perceived ugly. I really loved their honesty. And this guy kind of went, oh, hey, you're in good company. Steve Jobs was into that. It's called wabi-sabi. It's the beauty of things humble and simple in nature. And I said, oh, good company, ego, Jobs dude. But I said, you know what? It's in my blood. It's in family. Beat my great-great-great-granddad. We study him in school. Alexandru Macedonsky. He was into like French symbolism, Baudelaire, Le Fleur de Mal, all that jazz. But he too understood the power of things simple and humble. But to go back to this thing, just to frame expressions of this wabi-sabi are things like the haikus, the Japanese gardens, the bonsai, and why not interaction design? Now, I am not a designer, and I do not know if design will save the world. I have studied design, I see design, but I let others make it be. But what I do think I know a little bit about is the foundation on which good things are built upon. And this is, again, about Putch-Face, Mr. Blobfish, and a talk that I watched by this guy, Rick, and I forgot his name, and I'm going to tweet him, and I'm really sorry, dude. But it was about this thing that kind of got me to say, thank you for articulating something that was bouncing around in my head for so long. And he said, consider the most humble elements of your product. Consider that moment when your warm finger touches that cold screen. Nothing teaches us how to best facilitate that understanding, that humble moment when interaction starts. And I think we have to take time, be open, and understand these kind of humble, simple interactions. Simplicity happens when we really pay attention, when we don't add the fluff, when trends are possibilities or options, but they're not definite or starting points. And what I also know from experience is that when you design, or designing for communities can be equal to designing communities. And when that happens, it's quite strong. And that tends to happen with the sum of all those things that has the capacity of bringing us together. It's designed with those humble moments in mind. Don't be like this guy, with all this humble stuff, but do practice humility. My name is Andreea. My Twitter handle is going to come up next. And one final reminder that this guy in the darkness that you can't see, oh my God, really bad of me, he doesn't need lipstick to look pretty, he only needs darkness. Thank you.